Nikki, welcome to the Future Fox podcast. Do you want to just give the people your elevator pitch, your intro, what you do,
Sure.
who you are,
Yes.
and what you do?
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate you having me. My name's Nikki Brooker. I am the founder and CEO of Yana, which stands for You Are Not Alone. We created the 501c3 6 years ago after two local moms took their lives and the lives of their kids. We decided we really needed to do better and support moms better. So we created a support system for moms. I'm a mom of three. I have a almost 23-year-old who's in law school on Long Island. I have a 20-year-old who's in school in Colorado Springs. And then I have a 16-year-old son who's in high school. Okay. And I'm a photographer, and I'm a publisher. I publish books of mostly women writers, but we want to empower writers to tell their story. So I wrote a book and then decided, wow, I want to do more of this. So I do that too. So
Cool.
that's
What was the name of your book?
But the name of my book is Let's Be Real. And it's all the real stuff you really need to know when you're having a baby. So somebody gave me, when I had my 23-year-old in 2000, they gave me the What to Expect When You're Expecting book. And I literally went home in tears because I thought, I'm going to be horrible. I can't learn all this. This is insane.
It's overwhelming.
Oh my gosh. It's such a huge book. And it was too much. It really just set me back. And I thought, someday somebody needs to write a book about what you really need to know. And now that, I've been there and done that and still doing it, I thought, you know what? Over the pandemic, I'm going to write a book.
Nice.
So I wrote a book.
So how big is your book compared to What to Expect? It's like a pamphlet?
In comparison, yes.
Yeah.
It's about 180 pages. So it's a lot easier to digest.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think it's overwhelming, sometimes if you get those big books.
Yes.
I almost never make it through a book.
Right.
I
right.
don't know about you, but when I read pretty often, but like most books I get like halfway or 2/3 of the way through and I'm like, I get it.
I get it.
I
think I can figure out how this ends. I'm good.
I find, they'll have like, I'll read like business books or self-help books or something. And it's like, they have a theme, they have a thesis, and they kind of write about that, and they write about it. You have 10 chapters, and it's just the same thing in kind of 10 different ways or broken into smaller
100%.
pieces. And you're like, get 6 chapters in, you're kind of reading the titles of the other chapters. You're like,
You're like,
I get it.
I think I'm good. I like that you consolidate your time. Like, I think I got the main gist of this, and I'm good.
Let me go put some of this into practice now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I don't have to. I have 3 kids as well. You
do.
have boys or girls?
I have 2 girls and a boy.
Oh, I do too.
Do you?
Are the oldest 2 girls?
Yep.
We have the
You
same.
too.
Yeah. I have a 7-year-old girl, a 5-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old boy.
Oh my gosh, you're just like 20 years behind me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. I love that dynamic and having
it's something.
Is the 16-year-old, is he kind of spoiled? Do the sisters?
Oh, if
spoil
you
him?
ask the sisters, that we just had this conversation because the 23-year-old's like, if I would have done that, you would be so mad at me. And I'm like, yeah, live and learn. Like, I'm a lot more chill with him because I made all my mistakes with you. Like, I gotcha. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. Yeah. I'm the youngest. I'm the,
So am I.
3. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. My he's definitely going to be spoiled. But he's also perfect, so I don't ever have to get on to him. So It's funny how that works. All right. So I want to ask you more about your background. You said you've been doing photography for how long?
Well, 30 years.
Okay.
My husband and I have been together since I was 12 and he was 15.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep.
What grade is that? Like 7th grade?
I was the summer of between 7th and 8th. And I met him and I said to a friend of ours, I think I'll marry him someday.
Oh my
and
gosh.
she was like, you're 12. And I'm like, well, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like that was it. So we've been together ever since. Yeah. We did the long distance thing for 2 years because he was 2 years ahead of me in school. And so he went to the University of Michigan. I was still in high school. So 2 years.
Was that like the hardest part?
Oh my gosh,
the hardest 2 years
far.
Of it?
Yeah. Being a part
I did
of
long
this
distance
was
for
really
a year, and it was just really hard.
It's really hard. And back then, like we didn't have cell phones.
We weren't texting each other.
We were not texting. We did not have a cell phone. We had a phone on the wall. Like we actually had to pick up a phone and call. You didn't have FaceTime. You didn't have any of that. Which thank God, because I don't think I could have lived as a teenager through all of that.
Yeah,
but
it made it simpler.
It was simpler. Yeah. It was either you got to have a phone call or you didn't, But then so when we were in high school together, we were the yearbook photographers, and we also did like all of it. But back then, nothing was digital, obviously, and you had film that you had to roll into film canisters. Oh, yeah. That was the first step, and that is in a little canister thing with your hands. Like it's because it has to be dark, so you can't even see what you're doing. You just can feel it. So that was like really interesting.
So you two were in a dark room.
We were in the dark room a lot. That's the joke always that people are like, that's why you did that.
I see why you two got together.
You know, but it was really, really like I fell in love with the process of photography. Like when you get to take a second in time that will never happen again and then have something that proves that happened or that you can look back on and it brings back all of that. It's just, there's something about it, right?
And you cannot recreate it digitally.
No.
I can just look. I can just tell when a photo... It pops off the screen.
Absolutely.
When I see someone who has like, even if they digitize the film and put it on Instagram or whatever, I can immediately tell because I do some film photography as well. I just have like a Canon, like a little rangefinder. Take it out with my kids and kill a roll when we go on a hike or something like that.
Love that.
Those are my favorite photos.
Yes.
By far. Just the look and feel. Even if they're a little overexposed or underexposed, they just have such unique characters and colors and texture and the grain. Oh, I love it so much.
I totally agree with you.
Do you have a favorite film, like a color, like Kodak Gold?
I used, Kodak Gold was my favorite when I did do film. I mean, I haven't done film in so many years, but I was such a holdout. I was like, I'm not going digital. I'm staying. I love this so much. And then I photographed a wedding and I lost a roll.
What role was it?
Yeah, the roll.
Oh no!
It was the roll, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done.
That's so sad.
It was
sad for everyone.
Heartbreaking.
How did you lose it? Do you remember? Like
it got exposed somehow. I didn't actually do anything. I didn't lose the roll. It got exposed, and so when we got the photos, it wasn't worth anything.
And I was white.
It had like white stripes all the way across. Like it was the saddest thing.
That's gotta be a hard conversation too.
It was. It like gives me hives.
I'm sorry. Okay, we can change the subject.
Yeah,
we can move on.
It was rough.
We can move on.
But then I moved to digital, and then this is kind of a horrible story too. So my daughter and I were chosen years ago to be ambassadors from the United States to South Korea for this conference, I was the chaperone of the group, but then she was one of the students that was chosen. And so I do these mini shoots every year where I stack families every half hour, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I used to do 3 weekends. I've given up that. I'm down to 1 weekend a year.
In the fall?
I do it in the fall. Great, yeah. Yep. It's one right after the other. So, and I used to do each day was a different SD file, right? Card. And so I had all these cards, whatever. So it was the weekend after my last shoot. And I'm like, I'm going to edit all these while I'm sitting on the plane for 12 hours. This would be perfect time, right? So I sit there and I go through card after card after card, edit all these pictures. And then we get to, I don't remember where we flew into, Amsterdam maybe. So we flew into somewhere and we get there, we get off the plane, we did it. And I lost the whole bag.
Oh no!
Of SD cards.
How many days?
Oh my gosh, that was 6 days of shooting.
6 days of shooting. Wow.
And oh my God, it gives me a stomach ache just thinking about it because I'm thinking I have to reshoot. I had saved some of them, and one was still in the actual laptop. Okay. So I had maybe half of them. Okay. But I'm like now I'm in South Korea. I'm like on the next plane, just like shaking, and my daughter's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack. Yeah. And I'm calling, and I went up to the flight attendant and I was like, can you call the other flight and see if they can find him? And they said they searched the plane. They searched, couldn't find him. Never got him back.
It's funny how that works. They almost never find anything.
Yeah, right. Because they never really look.
Really nice Patagonia puffer jacket on a plane.
Yeah.
10 minutes, I realized it. I went back. They're like, oh, we couldn't find it.
Yeah, couldn't find it. Yeah.
It's
somebody
on that
owns
plane
that.
right there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you can't find it, you can't find it.
So yeah, although you can lose a whole roll of film, you can also lose.
It's possible.
It's possible.
I have shot. This might surprise you. I shoot weddings. I used to shoot a lot of weddings. I think I've shot like 270 something weddings.
Oh dear heavens!
That's video. And
wow.
Never lost.
You better be knocking on some wood.
I don't have it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't think I came close to losing some audio files one time, but I'm pretty I'm pretty intense about backing things up and make sure they're in the cloud and not deleting anything, triple checking. So then it's like I have like 3 different checkpoints where I make sure I don't smart. So it's like
really
I dump it when I get home, I check it the next day, and then I'll put the cards back in my cameras and look at the files, make sure and then I'll cross-reference it, and then before I format it. And then I'll leave it on there too, just in case, as long as I can until the next project I have to shoot.
Yeah.
And then before that shoot, I'll double check again. So
wow,
it's a lot. It's smart. It's a lot of time and effort and energy.
It sure is.
But it saved me this long.
And so it's so funny because people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's so expensive to get a video or photos and whatever," but they don't think about any of that time and process and all of that.
Yeah. Same thing with like people don't think about gear prep. Whenever I have to prep all this gear, people can't see it, but there's 3 cameras and cables and mics and lights and. I spend, we'll go on a production and I will spend at least 3 or 4 hours just prepping gear, charging batteries. I'll spend a half day prepping for a 1-day shoot.
Yes.
And then the editing process. So it is expensive, and that's why it's a lot of time. And then it's, $50,000 worth of camera gear too. So
that kind of adds to it too.
That adds to the cost a little bit. So. But anyways, I want to talk more about Yana, and you said 6 years ago? So was that
2017.
2017.
Yep.
Okay. And it existed in some way before then, right?
So weirdly, it's one of those things that when something's meant to be, it's truly like meant to be. So we had these 2 moms who took their lives and lives of their kids. I was weirdly connected to both of them. Did not know either of them personally, but each of them had a part of their lives that were connected to mine. And so what happened was after the second one in February of 2017, I threw it on my Facebook page because I could not take the heartache anymore. And I said, what are we going to do? We have to do something. We can't just sit here and watch this happen again. What are we going to do? And so a bunch of my friends just kind of started a conversation. And what if we did this? And what if that? And what if this? And what if we became a nonprofit? And what if you started a support group or whatever? And it just started the conversation, right? Well, I didn't even know what a nonprofit was. I'll be totally honest with you. I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what does it mean, nonprofit? Like, I know it's a charity. Like, I'd always heard it as a charity, but I didn't understand what that meant. So I was like,
it can mean a lot of things.
It can mean a lot. And it is a lot of different things, right? There's 501c3s, there's 501c4, there's a bunch of different letters and numbers in there, and they all do a little bit different things. But I said, okay, well, sure. That sounds great. I just want to support moms. I don't want this to happen again. How are we going to make that happen? So a friend of mine was opening an all-women's gym here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And she's like, hey, why don't we partner? I was like, sure. Okay. What does that mean? And she's like, well, when I'm not using it, you can use it. Oh. And I thought, holy cow. Okay, overnight, now we have a location. Great. So she's like, why don't you speak at our grand opening? And I said, Dina, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, it doesn't matter. Just get up. You have a heart.
Share your heart.
You just share your heart. Exactly. Yeah. And I said, okay, I'll get up. So I got up in front of, 150, 200 people. And I said, I can't sit here and watch this anymore. How about you? Like, let's do something about this. So if you know anything about nonprofits, you know anything about postpartum depression, you know anything about anything, just come talk to me because I can use all the help I can get. So this woman walked up to me and she said, have you started the 501c3 paperwork yet? And I said, yeah.
There's paperwork?
So I said, funny you should say that. I just spent yesterday with the book Nonprofits for Dummies. Ended after 3 hours of reading this book in tears. And my husband came in and said, what's the problem? And I was like, I am an intelligent human being with a master's degree and I can't figure out what step 1 is. Like, I was like, this is not intuitive and I don't understand this language. And he was like, honey, put that book away for a while and just go help moms. Like, if you get bogged down on that, you're never going to get where you need to be. And
I was like, you don't actually need a nonprofit to help people.
Technically, you don't. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I thought that
it's nice to have a formal, somewhere people can give and support.
Yep. And so I put it aside and I said, okay. And then I went and spoke at this grand opening. And this woman, Julie, walks up to me and she's like, awesome. Throw that book in the trash because I'm going to hand you my nonprofit.
Oh, whoa.
That's what I said. Whoa. And I said, is that a thing? Can you, I don't understand. And she's like, well, I have this 10-year-old nonprofit. Okay. It did great things for 8 years. It's been sitting dormant for 2 years. My husband and I were just talking about how we need to find somebody who wants to do good in the world and hand them this. And you got up and spoke. And I was like, wow. Okay. Is it that easy? She's like, I don't know. Let's figure it out. So sure enough, we changed it's not that hard. You change the name and the address with the Secretary of State and the IRS. And you change the mission a little bit and the contact person, and it's your nonprofit. So in 2 weeks, I had a location, a 501c3, and she's like, and I got $1,500 in the bank. It's all yours. Oh, okay. So I was a nonprofit literally overnight. And then I was like, okay, now what? Like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So then we started this thing. We had 9 news come to our very first gathering, and we loosely based it on the AA model. Okay. So we'd have gatherings and play dates for the moms to come together, get to know each other, build a community. But then every mom is offered a support person, kind of like a sponsor in AA, right? And the support person is just another mom who can say, I've been there. I've locked myself in the bathroom and cried too.
Tell me about the support person. Is that, do they go through any sort of training? Are they typically older?
They're typically moms, empty nesters, moms of older kids, moms who feel like they have something to share, or just want to support another mom. I do have some younger mom support moms too. We don't necessarily have a training for that program. We do have some information that we give them that we ask them to do. Mm-hmm. We ask you to be open and honest. We ask you to be non-judgmental. Mm-hmm. We ask you to give advice only when asked.
I imagine you vet them to some degree.
We do. Yep. Yeah. I talk to every single mom who's going to be a support mom just to make sure that they're, their heart's in the right place and that they're there to support a mom. But the other part of that is we also tell our moms who come in looking for a support mom, this is not a mental health professional. This is not someone who is going to loan you money. Yeah. This is somebody who's going to be there to support you in whatever capacity you two agree on. Mm-hmm. So what happens is the mom comes in, the support mom fills out a survey, and the mom who's looking for support also fills out the same survey. Okay. I kind of look at when a mom comes in looking for support, I look through all of the moms that we have in the bank. We have about 60 moms that are waiting anytime they'll support a mom. And I look at the bank and I see somebody they might have something in common with. Do they both have 2 boys and a girl? Do they have twins and then a singleton? Whatever it happens to be, try to find something they have. Are they both originally from Michigan? Like something that they can kind of sink their teeth into. Mm. Then I pair them. I go back to the support mom and make sure they're still in a good place, that they want to support a mom. If they say yes, great. I give them the information of the mom and I send them off to do whatever it is they want to do together. I am very hands off in that relationship. That's up to them. So the boundaries they set, how they determine that relationship, that is 100% theirs to determine. I'm here if you ever need support. I'm here if you ever need help. I'm here if you don't make a connection and you would like to try a different support mom. That's okay too. I'm not perfect at this, right? Mm-hmm. You guys might not make a connection. Then let me try again, right? But it's funny because these moms come in, they ask for a support mom. I pair them up, and sometimes they say to the support mom, just knowing you're there is enough support right now. Wow. Everybody has a different level.
Just the fact to have someone.
Just that I know you're there. Now, does that mean that I might call on you? Yep. Does it mean I might not? Yep. But just be here. And then I have these support moms that come back and go, well, they didn't really need me. They didn't, and I'm like, no. They needed you. They needed to know you're there. And that's all. And that's okay. Everybody's level of need is different, and that's okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that you're doing this.
Thanks.
Do you have a story that you'd like to share maybe?
I do.
Okay.
Of course I do.
I'd love to hear that.
So we have 2 different programs. We have the outreach program, which is the support mom program, right? And that program, like I said, we used to have gatherings and play dates for the moms coming together. Right before COVID, I was finding that we were having this disconnect. I'd have a mom of a 6-week-old and a mom of a 6-year-old. They're not making they're not making the connection because they're in totally different worlds, right? That's a different mothering world. So then COVID hit. But put an end to the in-person gatherings. We still offer support moms to anyone any mom that wants a support mom. Doesn't matter where you live, because if the pandemic taught us anything, it taught us that we can support virtually, and that's okay, right? That works out okay.
Do you find that to be the same? Not as good?
It depends on the need for support. It depends on their need, right?
Sure.
Some of them are I need to see you. I want to go for a walk in the stroller with you. Pushing the stroller, not in the stroller, but I want to have that.
I need you to push me.
I need you to push me in a stroller. Please?
Sometimes I'm pushing my son and I'm like, I wish a giant human would just push me in the stroller. Can we just
switch places? Yes, that'd be great. Yeah. So anyway, but some moms are just like, no, a text once a week, or, just knowing you're there, that I can text you, or a phone call or whatever. It just depends on the mom. But in those the first gathering we had, back in 2017, April of 2017, like I said, 9 News was there. They were doing a story on us. And the whole time I was like, okay, you've been here, you videotapes, you need to get out, because if you're here, these moms, and see, moms pull up for a support group and they see 9 News, they're like, yeah, bye-bye. I'm not coming, right? So I'm like,
just because they don't want people to know that they need
exactly because of the stigma. Because I can't need help. Like that's which is insane. But
I want to come.
Yeah,
back
we're gonna come back to that.
I want to come back to the stigma.
Yes. So anyway, 9 News finally leaves, and of course the moms flood in. We had probably 20 moms come into that first meeting, and moms with their kids, and it was in a kid-friendly area, and the kids all got to play. And I had a bunch of support moms who were there, ready to support a mom if they wanted it, but just to talk to each other, and it was wonderful. It was such a I'll never forget that day. Well, this lovely mom walked in. Her name was Joanne. She walked in with 3 kids, and she was disheveled. She obviously was struggling and needed some support. She sat down and told us her story and just burst into tears. And we all burst into tears with her. And she told us about the fact that they were homeless. They were living with her in-laws. She and her mother-in-law did not see eye to eye, and she was constantly told she wasn't enough. She did not tell us at that time, but we found out later she had a plan. She was going to take her life. She wasn't going to take her kids with her, but she was going to take her life because she thought, and her husband had stage 3 cancer on top of that.
Gosh.
So she was like, everyone would be better off without me because my husband wouldn't have to worry about taking care of all of me. He could just focus on the kids and himself. It would just be better if I wasn't here, right? So this is what's going through her head as we're supporting her and building her. She came back to those gatherings every single week. I gave her a support mom who lifted her up. And that woman credits us with saving her life, changing her whole trajectory. Her husband is now cancer-free. They own their own home in Elizabeth. She is homeschooling her 3 children. And she's doing phenomenally well. Does she have bad days? Of course she does. But she is my biggest success story that just makes me feel like all of this work, all of the blood, sweat, and tears is worth every piece of it.
Absolutely.
So that's our outreach program, and that has spoken volumes to me. And so that's why we will always offer moms support people. Mm-hmm. Support moms are really important. Over 70% of moms who give birth in the state of Colorado are not native to Colorado.
Oh, wow.
70%. So that means they don't have their people. Yeah. They don't have family. They don't have a village. Yeah. They don't have the things they need.
We had our kids here and we don't have any family.
There you go. Yeah. You and me both, right?
Yeah.
So
we are the statistic.
We are the statistic. And it's tough. It's really tough to have kids without support. So we give them a support. We give them a person, right? So that outreach program has been going for 6 years. It'll go for as long as there is breath in my body. I will always do the support mom part. But what we were finding was that disconnect between this, 6-week-old, 6-year-old mom, and how do we make sure the moms are all going through the same thing at the same time? So we created a new program, and it's called Strong Mamas, Thriving Babies. And this program is a hospital program. So this program is going to be launched at UC Health Highlands Ranch. We're hoping September 1st. And it gives every single mom who gives birth a full year of wraparound support.
Oh, describe wraparound support.
Wraparound support means all the modes that we can give to them. So the very first part of it is between birth and discharge of being let go to go home to take care of this newborn that you don't know what you're doing with. In that space, when you're still in the hospital, you get a one-on-one visit with somebody from our program. It's a face-to-face, eye-to-eye. We are here for you. We care about you as a human being, not just a mom. And we're going to give you these services and let me explain them to you. And then, there's a QR code. You can just join right now, or here's a flyer. Think about it. Come back and let us know. But the 3 parts of the program are there's an app that is in production right now that is just for the moms in this program. So all the moms that are giving birth up and down these halls right now are all invited to this as well. And all the moms that gave birth in the same month. Okay. So you're going to be paired with all these moms. You're going to be put in these groups. There's a chat. You can chat with any mom you want. There's a calendar of events. There's online events and in-person events. There are discussion rooms called convos where the moms can just chat about whatever they want to chat about. Mm-hmm. Breast versus bottle, co-sleeping versus crib, whatever. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to talk about. So they get to create those rooms. We'll create some rooms. We'll facilitate the conversations, but we're also leaving it to them to have those peer-to-peer support, right? So the app is almost a beta phase. So we're real close to getting ready to launch that. The second part of it is all the January mamas will come back the month of February. So every month, that new cohort of moms comes back the next month.
Comes back to where?
Back to the hospital.
Okay.
In a big conference room.
Okay.
Not in the hospital itself, but in a conference room. And we sit down and we give them the space, the safe space to say all the things they want to say. All the things no one else allows them to say. Like, I don't love this.
Yeah.
This is harder than I ever thought it was going to be. And I'm not bonding with this baby. I don't want to be married to my husband right now. Right? All of the things that no one allows them to say because of the stigma against, well, you're supposed to know how to do this. You're supposed to love this. Instagram says that this is a beautiful thing. You're supposed to be the Pinterest perfect mom. Well, guess what? You're not.
How
and
is
it's
your
okay.
body not back to normal
How
yet?
exactly? How come you haven't lost the baby weight yet? Yeah. It's been 3 weeks, for crying out loud. So this space gives moms that chance. We close the doors and say, none of us here are going to take your kids away. Say what you need to say, and it's okay. Right? It is a safe space. Now we'll be listening for red flags. Obviously, if a mom throws more red flags than not, well, we might pull her aside at the end and say, "Is everything okay? Can we give you a little bit more support?"
What sort of experts are in the room?
So I have been trained in postpartum mental health. I've been trained in suicide ideology. I've been trained in mental health first aid. I have a whole list of them, right?
Are you facilitating most of the conversations?
I'm facilitating them for the pilot program, yes. And so, but in 2024, we have government funding to expand into 2 more hospitals.
Okay.
So we plan to be in 2 more hospitals in our county in 2024. So we want to be statewide in 10 years. We want every single hospital to have this.
What sort of staff do you have right now?
You're looking at her.
Okay.
Actually, we just hired our first part-time person. I'm so excited. So we have a second person. She's going to be basically my deputy. Okay. So she's going to help build this program with me, and then she'll take over that hospital while I go on to build the other 2. Okay. So that's the plan.
You're going to need more help.
I know. We're gonna need lots more help, especially when we get statewide. But so the app is a big part of our program, the in-person gatherings. Oh, and then weeks 2 and 3 of those in-person gatherings, because somebody was like, so it's just going to be a big complaint session for 4 weeks. I'm like, oh, no. That's week 1. We're going to get you comfortable with the feeling and saying the things you want to say and normalizing conversation. But then weeks 2 and 3, we have community experts come in and give moms real world stuff to walk out with. We're going to have a sleep expert come in and give you 3 tips to get baby to sleep through the night. A pelvic floor physical therapist come in and say, it's not normal for you to pee when you jump, and we can fix that. The libraries come in and say, you should be reading to your babies, and here are a bunch of books. Self-care people come in and say, self-care doesn't have to be a $100 massage. It can be a 10-minute bath, and let me give you some other ideas. And here's a bunch of bath bombs, whatever. And so we have all of these people I'm vetting right now to come in and just give moms some stuff that they walk out the door and go, I got this.
Yeah. So they're getting like counsel, they're getting to vent.
Yep.
They're also getting like tangible physical things to help them and baby.
Yep. And connecting with all these other moms in the room, right? All these people who are like, you get me. Yeah. You're not judging me. And I say a lot, I'm like, that's why AA has worked for as many years as it has worked, because all those people in that room have slept in a gutter too. Yeah. And they're not going to tell you that you're wrong for sleeping in a gutter. They're going to tell you, we've been there, and let me lift you up and help you out of that gutter. And that's what these moms in this room are going to do, right? They're going to lift each other up. So then week 4 of that is just, okay, now what? You guys, you've created this group. We're all good. Does somebody want a group? We can't do like Facebook groups and that kind of thing because we're HIPAA compliant. Mm-hmm. So you can create that, but kind of go from there. Our program is very a la carte as well. If the moms only want the app, they can have the app. They want the in-person gatherings, they can, whatever works for them, whatever support works best for them, they can have.
And there's never any charge for
Nope,
moms.
It's free to every mom.
Yeah.
The third part of our, but wait, there's more.
Oh no.
The third part of our program is every mom is offered a 3, 6, 9, and 12-month postpartum phone call. Okay. So that is a peer specialist, a mom peer specialist. So they will be going through specific training for this. Okay. And we have created this training, which is going to be state certifiable. So it'll be mom peer support. Because if you go and get training on being a peer mentor, a peer support specialist, you have to identify with one of 2 things. You either have to have a substance abuse history, or you have to have a mental health history. That's not what our program is, right? So I went to go get trained, and they said, well, which one do you identify with? I said, well, neither really. And they said, well, I had, maybe a little postpartum, but I don't know that I identify with a mental health. And they were like, well, then we can't train you. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, think about it. If you go to AA, do you want somebody leading that group that's never been an alcoholic? Nope, I don't. You're right. And they said, so honestly, you should make your own training specific to being a mom peer specialist. Well, I happen to have this amazing board member who does that kind of thing and creates those kind of trainings. So she created our training for us. So it'll be a specific where you can actually get certified in it as a mom peer specialist. But those phone calls, that 3, 6, 9, and 12 phone call is from another mom who can say, how are you? Are you well? Do you need anything? We have this amazing resource bank called Unite Us that we're on, that we can refer them to thousands of different referrals, whether it be a food bank, whether it be, I'm trying to go back to work, but I don't know where to look. I want to get trained in whatever. We can help them find whatever it is they need. So those 36912 calls are peer support. Again, not specifically mental health support, although our callers will be trained in understanding
and listening
those red flags and those things they need to know. So that's our program. 4-part program that's going to change the world one mama at a time, because Europe, Asia, and Canada give their moms a full year of support. Do you know if you have a baby in Canada, they send a doula to your home to do your laundry? Right?
That's pretty amazing.
And what do we
we're
do?
a long way from
we
that.
say, go home, figure
Good
it
luck.
out. Right? Good luck. Hope it works out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Stark difference.
Yep. Stark
Certainly.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And after having 3 kids, I totally understand the need for having, mother support.
Yes. Yes. And
It's so important.
Just add on the hormones to all that, right? Like you just birthed a child and now you have all of this going on, and it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah.
We were in a quick story.
Yeah.
We were in Austin. We lived in Austin for 2 years during the pandemic. And I don't know if you remember, they had a big freeze and like all the power was out.
Yeah,
okay.
I do remember
so that's
that.
when my son was born.
Oh, of course.
Right in the middle
Perfect.
of that. So I had to drive my wife the birthing center where we were supposed to go, just down the street. Well, of course, didn't have any electricity or water. So they sent us to the birthing center on the north side. It was only about like 15 miles, but it took an hour and a half to get there. And it was a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
But it was when she finished, her first bath, and I remember just like coming home. They sent us home 6 hours after he was born because they needed the room. I think that maybe it was even 4 hours, but it was very soon. And we were, luckily it was our third. And
well, that doesn't mean you still know what you're doing, but
no, it's true. It's true. We were a little bit prepared for it.
Yeah.
We weren't prepared for doing it in the snow. And so I have my newborn son and my 4-hour-old son and my wife who just gave birth in the car, and I'm driving across ice, hour and a half across ice.
My gosh.
Going, 10 miles an hour, trying not to crash.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh my gosh.
made it home safe. No electricity, no water in our home.
Wow.
So I went out and I melted snow to give my wife. She took a bath in melted snow and about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inches of water. That's how she cleaned her body after giving birth.
That is amazing.
I know, she's amazing.
What a traumatic event for all of you.
Yes, it was. We had some friends, some great friends. Shout out to the Hydes who kept our daughters for a day or two while we recovered. But
that's amazing.
So all that to say, it is hard.
Yes.
Coming home with a baby and just going, what do we do now?
What do we do with this?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have water or electricity.
And the hormones, and then the baby isn't feeding right and sleeping good. There's so many variables when you have a kid.
Yes.
It totally makes sense that moms would struggle.
Yep.
And that's totally normal, and we should definitely be talking about it more.
100%.
So I love that you're doing that and helping moms, because I think the more support that they can have, the better it helps society and culture overall, because it just lifts everyone up.
Let's be honest, who runs the household, right? Moms. When you think about, just don't even think about your own wife and children, but think about your own childhood, moms. Right?
Yeah.
Like your mother ran the house.
Dads do a lot. Dads do more than
Dads
they ever have.
Dads are amazing. I'm never anyone who bashes men. Don't get me wrong. However, they don't do all the things that moms do, and moms make the world go round. But when moms
think about the things moms think about,
you sure don't. You sure don't. So it's funny. I have my master's degree is in adult education and development, because I was going to be a teacher forever. I taught for 20 years, and I was going to teach forever. That was my plan. And things, sometimes your plans get changed. But for my master's degree, they said pick one topic that you really want to learn everything there is to know about, because for 18 months through this whole program, you're going to use that topic. You're going to do all your presentations. You're going to do your papers. You're going to do your thesis. You're going to do everything on it. I was fascinated by the difference between the male and the female brain. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I learned so much in 18 months about the physiological and biological differences, that why we are the way we are, why we act the way we do, and why we think the way we do, and how testosterone and estrogen are such big parts of that. And it goes on and on. I do this talk. I just did it for the John Elway dealership. So I've been doing these talks all over town now. I'm doing them for a couple Chamber of Commerces and stuff, because it really, really changes how you communicate with each other. How sales are done, parenting is done, your family dynamics. Like when you know better, you do better. Well, you should anyway. When you know better, you do better. And when you know and you understand the differences, it is fascinating that everything falls into place in your brain, that you're like, well, now that makes total sense. So anyway, that's a whole nother podcast, but that's something I love to do.
Maybe we'll have to have you back and talk about that specifically. Yes. I want to wrap this up because I know I want to respect your time, and we could probably talk for another 2 hours.
I could talk for days.
But I do want to talk about the practical aspect of just like fundraising, where you guys get your money from. What are your biggest needs? How anyone watching this might want to help? What should they do? How can they make the biggest impact?
So we were just luckily gifted by Douglas County. So every county got money. Every state got money called ARPA funds, and in response to COVID, and it's basically regenerating everything. In a lot of it went to mental health, thank God. And so we did get a grant from them to help build this program. But that is just to pilot, like just to walk in the door and get started, because these hospitals need us to prove that what we're doing makes a difference.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows anything about motherhood knows that we're going to make a difference. Like, this is going to change. Every time I tell a mom this story, the first thing they go is, oh my gosh, if you would have had that when I had kids. Like, every single mom says, this would have changed my life, right? And we know that. We know it's going to change lives. We know we're going to, but any hospital, any government agency, anybody wants data. Give me data. Give me raw data, right?
And you can understand why.
I get it.
Like,
I totally get it.
We're taking a big risk by letting you in the door.
Absolutely.
By giving you these funds.
Yep.
Can you just prove,
Can you prove you can do this?
That they're making a difference?
Yep.
And
so
if you we'll continue.
Then
and
we'll continue, and we'll fund it.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to give us a penny until we can prove what we're doing. So we have to pilot the entire program on our own dime.
Oh, so they didn't give you any money up front?
Nope.
They said, we will give you money if you can
show us that this is going to work.
You have 1 year.
We're going to pilot for a year. Yeah.
Okay.
So so that's, that costs a lot of money. Everything costs money. Like our taxes, everything costs monmoney. So
software, your website, hosting your website. I got an email, you owe $20 for hosting your website. I'm like, I forgot I have to do that.
I forgot I have to pay you. Yeah. Everybody wants something. And I get it. Like, everybody should be making money for what they do. Don't get me wrong. But for a nonprofit, that's rough.
Yeah.
So the expenses of our program, so our website is YANAM2M.com. You can go there and make a donation there. We are having a gala November 4th of 2023, where I'm so excited. It's at a private ranch in Castle Rock, where you get to be a cowboy or a cowgirl for the night. It is called Boots and Bling. And we have silent auction, live auction, paddle raise, all the things. It's such a fun night. You get a full dinner, full bar, the whole thing. 170 is all it fits.
Okay.
So tickets go on sale soon. And we're always looking for silent auction, live auction items for that. So if you have a business and you're like, you know what, I could donate that and help you make money that way, that would be great. Straight donations are great too, but a lot of people want to do something or be a part of something, right? And I get that. We have an event coming up. I don't know when this is going to air, but August 26th is called Fit Fest here in Highlands Ranch. It's at the Civic Green Park. It's going to be so much. It's our second annual. We did it last year. It's fitness, wellness, family resources. Just a really fun morning event this year. We did it at night last year, and everybody died because it was so hot. So we're going to do it in the morning this time.
Okay.
And it's there's a mashup workout class. So it's like 5 different gyms get like 10 minutes each, and they get to do a little part of the class. So you can be like, oh yeah, I would try that, or nope, this is not my kind of workout. But it's just kind of getting your body moving. Team Speed's going to be there doing a kids like obstacle thing. We have live music. We have from School of Rock. So we have.
I know those guys.
They're amazing. Yes, love Holly. We're gonna have food trucks. We have the water features will be on the playgrounds there, and we have so far 25 vendors. We'd like 40, so we need more vendors. So if you're in that world, fitness, wellness, any of that kind of stuff, we'd love to have you. And then we'd love for you to come hang out. It's free for the public to attend. And another event we have coming up is the Ice Cream Social for Highlands Ranch puts on an ice cream social every year. Cool. And they pick one nonprofit to be the beneficiary of it. And this year, that's us.
Nice.
So that's amazing. That's August 2nd in the evening from 6 to 8 at the same park, Civic Green. That's a huge festival. Fire trucks and you can go climb on a fire truck and get in.
Fire trucks and ice cream.
I mean, come on.
I'm sold.
That sounds amazing, right?
I'm sold.
So that's coming up. So we have lots of events coming up. We have another event, a family field day. It's going to be so fun. You get to participate with your family, and there'll be 10 different stations, and you get to just go and have fun with your family, and there'll be food trucks and da-da-da. That's out at Backcountry Wilderness, which is off of Santa Fe, back by the police station or the police trainings area. So we're doing that with two other nonprofits. We're just doing that as a fun. We have a lot going on. Yeah. So
with a staff of one and a half.
And me and Pam. We just hired Pam, so we're excited about Pam. But I do have to say, please let me say that I have a phenomenal board of 9 fantastic women.
Well, I have 9 women on your board.
I have 9 women on my board.
That's a big board.
It is a big board. And then we have 2 advisors. We actually have a male advisor, so that's good. So we have 2 advisors as well. But my new president is Trista Borrego, and she was the vice president of the Northwest Douglas County Chamber of Commerce, and she is amazing. So I've got great people behind me. But yeah, I'm the only staff member of, me and Pam are the staff members of the nonprofit. So yeah, we could use all the help we can get. We are always looking for support moms too. So we love to build that bank, and if you're out there and you
best thing for them to do is go to the website,
email us, let us know you're interested, and then I get in touch with you. And if you're a mom out there and who needs support, same thing, like locate us through the website, YANAM2M.com. YANAM2M.com. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's land the plane here then.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
Cool.